I'm Magnolia Heaton, licensed clinical social worker. I'm back here on our channel, and I'm going to continue something that I started literally 4 years ago. I'm going to make my way through the chakras. And I just want to put a disclaimer out here. I know that some people don't believe in the chakras for religious reasons, namely people who were Christian, because they think that chakras are evil. That's understandable. In my experience, chakra, listen, in my experience, metaphors are really helpful, right? And so even if you don't believe that chakras are real, I think it's a way that we can conceptualize it, conceptualize the energy, conceptualize human needs that we have, so that we can kind of assess what we're working with, right? Just want to make that, I guess, statement or disclaimer. Okay. Now, I'm going to be looking at notes here from my presentation, and then just some notes that I just put on here. Okay. It's pretty general consensus that the physical body stores trauma, right? There are books written on it. Medical professionals are starting to see the virtues of that argument, and they believe in that too. And it goes across a lot of disciplines. Stored trauma in the body has many consequences, most of which result in chronic pain and dis-ease. I have a video where I started talking on the chakras. It's video 1 of 8. This is video 2 of 8. And so I just invite you to go check it out. I'm going to make a playlist and hopefully things will connect. Okay. What are the chakras? They're something that, let's see, they're seen as like energetic centers that are like balls, actually, not even discs, balls that have corresponding areas. There's 7 main ones, and some people think that there are thousands of them. I don't know. I only work with the 7 main ones, or assessed that way anyhow. Okay, each one has a location, a name, a function, and an associated color. Why do they matter? Because in my experience and in my studies, I've learned that trapped energy takes a toll, right? And so first, it impacts our energy. Like maybe we're feeling depleted. And then it cognitively, like we start to have cognitive distortions, negative beliefs, intrusive thoughts, things like that. It starts to impact our mental health, first energetically, then mentally. Then it starts to impact us emotionally, as in like depression, anxiety, panic, suicidality, right? Everything in between. It could even be extreme euphoria, in all honesty. Physically would be the next level, which would be dis-ease, chronic illness, on a continuum. And then I would say spiritually, right? If it continues unaddressed, it would lead to a feeling of a chronic sense of feeling devoid of meaning or of joy, or even addiction and things of the like. Okay. Now, please feel free to slow down the video. I don't typically record videos making notes, and I feel like I have a lot to say, and my mind is kind of racing, and so I want to make sure that I capture as much as I can. Okay, here we go. Now, the root chakra is like located at the tailbone, right? And there's some things that resonate with me, and there's some things that don't, so I'm just gonna share the ones that resonate with me. Okay, it has to do with the base. It's our base, right? If you sit, you sit like on your tailbone, so it keeps you anchored, right? It has to do with security, safety, belonging, having needs, getting our needs met, that kind of thing, and a sense of grounding. So this is on the positive end, right? And so I would also say embodiment. I would also say balance and overall health, right? For me, I like to look at this as our foundation. And so ages 0 to 3, really, right? The foundation of attachment, style, and things like that. And do I see the world as generally safe or generally unsafe? Are people generally safe or generally unsafe? Right? We can get imbalances here from anything in the opposite. So anything where we experience terrifying events, right? Signs that there are imbalances in this area, are anything that has to do with an imbalance in our foundation. So like challenges with our blood, legs, spine, or central nervous system, feet, bones, adrenal glands, hips, autoimmune disorders. This isn't an exhaustive list. I would invite you to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Okay. And psychologically, imbalances would be anxiety, panic, flashbacks, hypervigilance, difficulty concentrating, not being consciously present, intrusive thoughts, or catastrophizing, challenges in executive functioning. Why executive functioning? Because it has to do with actually executing, seeing something through, actually grounding something, actually manifesting something, following through on commitments, and social anxiety. You can see how a lot of these really have a lot in common with PTSD, and that's why I'm discussing it here on this channel. Social imbalances would include clumsiness, hypervigilance, inattentiveness, forgetfulness, chaotic relationships, frenetic energy, feeling unsafe with other people, challenges in being present, so being spaced out, feeling dissociated, or feeling like you just have a lot going on and you're so anxious and you kind of can't sit still. That kind of thing. A lot of challenges with the adrenals, right? Cortisol, that kind of thing. Chronic sense of being stressed or stressed out, feeling fried, feeling unsafe with other people. I said that already. Being really future oriented because the adrenaline is going so much and the cortisol is going so much that it's just like I can only focus on that and what's coming, and I have this anxiety and this fixation with what's over there rather than like being here in this moment because this is too intolerable because there's too much going on here and I can't sit with it here, and so I feel ungrounded, I don't feel safe, I don't feel secure, that kind of thing, right? I don't feel cohesive, I don't feel embodied, I can't, I shouldn't actually, right? That kind of thing. Okay, so that is the assessment portion. Let's see. Okay. Trying to do this by sense. Okay. Things that we can go look at or visualize that can be helpful, right? I'm not going to call this science. I'm not going to call this fact. This is just kind of experience and kind of what is a general consensus of things that can be helpful. Okay. And don't take this as medical advice. I'm not saying that if you envision the color red, that your blood disorder is going to be cured or that your autoimmune disorder is going to be cured. These are just things that can help complement, supplement any other kind of medical care, therapeutic care, that kind of thing. Healthy nutrition, etc. Okay. Things that we can see, envision, visualize that can be helpful are anything that's grounding or grounded, right? So we can see stones or trees or roots or earth, sand, earthworms, any kind of four-legged animal, soil, that kind of thing. We can envision the color red or any kind of earthy tone, grays, blacks, browns, right? What I like to invite people to do, my clients are like, okay, envision themselves lying down on the ground or sitting on the ground. And then maybe like there's roots growing from underneath them. And then breathing in a color. So normally I'll use red. Breathe in the color red. So I invite you to close your eyes or drop your gaze. Take a few grounding breaths. And then I invite you to breathe in the color red. Breathe in a red light. And breathe out red smoke. And so forth. Breathing in and breathing out. And typically that'll have a balancing effect. If that's too overwhelming for you, likely you're feeling extremely overwhelmed, and that's information. Your body's always talking to you, so that's information. Maybe it's so balancing and you really needed that. That's information too. Maybe like you were still in your window of tolerance and you needed that medicine, but like your body could still receive it. So that's kind of cool. But if your body couldn't receive it and it's just like, oh, it's overwhelming or it's too much, then that would suggest that you are outside of your window of tolerance and that there's other things that need to be happening, other discharging of energies, right? Physically, or there's something on your mind, your heart, something that you need to kind of address before you can feel safe, right? Other needs that need to be tended to. Things you can listen to, I would say, are any music with bass, any drums. You could play drums because drums are associated with the heartbeat of the earth. And so it's meant to be grounding, and it has a grounding effect on the body. And there's studies on that with the frequencies and things like that. You could probably find them. But like, yeah, hearing that. And then the bass too, like it does something to your body where like, I mean, it kind of shakes your heart and shakes your bones, your body, your skin. Hearing. I would honestly say probably like humming, like something like that would probably actually be helpful too. Hearing. I would say you could also say to yourself some affirmations like I am grounded, I am safe, I belong, my needs are valid, it's okay to take care of my needs, those kinds of things. It's okay to be present, or I choose to be present, that kind of thing. And I'm throwing a lot at you. This is why I think I postponed this video for so long. We'll just do our best. If you have questions, you can always ask down there in the comments. Okay. Then we have taste. Things that are said to be helpful. So things that we can eat. Anything with roots. Any root veggies, beets, carrots, potatoes, mushrooms, anything earthy like that. Beans, any kind of proteins, meat, nuts, anything grounding, fatty, kind of things that kind of settle to the bottom of the stomach are rumored to be helpful in helping us ground. Also, it's rumored anything red could be helpful because it's red like the root chakra. And you know, again, like even if it doesn't like work or there's no studies behind it or something like that, metaphysics maybe would say, or psychology would say, it's like the placebo effect helps. But like the fact that there's all this consciousness around these interventions can help a person, right? They believe it's going to be helpful, and it can potentially be helpful. And then there's smell. I would say again, earthy smell. So the smell of after rain or soil, I would say frankincense, myrrh can be pretty grounding. You could also Google it, right? You could say scents that support root chakra or something. Yeah. And then let's see what else is that I'm familiar with offhand. And then touch. I would say putting your hands in the earth, right, where your palms are touching the earth itself. Also the soles of your feet. The soles of your feet are known to, oh, I just saw it the other day. But I guess I have so many nerve endings or something. And then there's a relationship that happens between your soles of your feet. It just almost happens instantaneously where you ground and you discharge a lot of energy. And I don't know if it's like it causes negative ions to balance in your body, but whatever it is scientifically, it has a grounding effect on your body and your physiology and your electric charge. There are also crystals. Some people like crystals. Some people don't like crystals. Some people think crystals are evil. I understand all viewpoints. If you do work with crystals, anything, again, that's red or black or gray or brown, just, you know, plain and simple, plainly and simply, but also, I mean, there's specific ones that you could look at. It could be wrong, but I think that bloodstone is associated with helping support healthy circulation. So there's things like that. What else? I would say clothing, right? Wearing clothing of particular colors or even materials can be pretty grounding. But I would say, like, again, blacks, browns, reds, grays, any kind of earth tones, probably even beiges, right? All of that kind of spectrum. If you feel like you need kind of that extra protection or something like that, that can be helpful. Is there anything else that I feel like I need to say? Self-massage can be really helpful too, right? I would say massage is pretty grounding in and of itself. But if you, and I'm not a massage therapist, I might have to put that disclaimer out there. Anyhow, I've understood that if you push your thumb up against the palm of your hand, like so, that could be pretty grounding. If you're a fidgeter, cool. Two and one there. You could even bring it up your fingers too. Maybe you have a special one that feels better. Like right now it's my pinky, but I'm sure that shifts. And it doesn't even feel good if I do it here. But if I do it on this other hand, it feels really good. Right. So whatever can be grounding, just kind of experiment. I know that if you kind of massage the soles of your feet, that could be helpful too, or the ball of your foot too. Grounding. You could also put your hand on your heart and then your other hand on your heart and kind of apply pressure. That has a grounding effect, and that can feel like a hug. That has the same kind of activation power of your neurons. You could also give yourself a hug, right? Even just going like this, applying as much pressure as feels appropriate, squeezing as much or releasing as much as feels appropriate, pushing up against your chest with your elbows as much as you'd like or not. That can be pretty grounding too. Even lying on the ground, that can be helpful. Sitting on the ground, you can put your back against the floor. You can put your back against a chair, against a wall. You can even lie sideways or in fetal pose, if you're familiar with that. That is particularly grounding. If you're looking at yoga poses, child's pose is also grounding. Yeah. Awesome. I think that's all that I care to get into right now. Oh, and then I think dance too. I guess we could associate that with touch. Yeah. Dance, I would say anything that has any kind of earthly music. And so like bachata, the hip ticks are kind of grounded one, Dominican or classic bachata, belly dancing, any kind of indigenous dancing. I would say ska dancing, Afro dancing, could be even salsa dancing. And breathing, belly breathing can be helpful to support your chakra. So what I like to use this visual where you put your hands on your belly and you have your middle fingers touch, right? And you breathe in and your belly expands and your fingers come apart, and then you breathe out and then they come back together. And I think especially during a panic attack, that can be particularly helpful because you breathe in and you breathe out and you breathe in and you breathe out. And sometimes it is really hard to breathe in. It's like, take a deep breath. I can't breathe. I'm hyperventilating. Cool. Well, that shallow breathing happens in the chest, right? The deeper breathing happens in the belly, but sometimes it's hard to make that connection. So if you're focused on your fingers during the breathing and that rhythm, then that can be fairly grounding during a panic attack. Patchouli is also a smell that can be helpful. Frankincense, myrrh, patchouli. Okay, potentially even sage. But you know, really in the moment, your body's going to tell you what you need, right? So I'll end this with a quick little meditation, right? I invite you to close your eyes or drop your gaze, whatever feels better to you in the moment. And I invite you to connect with your breath, breathing in. Maybe we'll do this. We'll put our hands on our belly, breathing in and out. In, out. And I invite you to breathe in red light and breathe out red smoke. Do that a few more times while I say some affirmations. And if you can just affirm to yourself, I am safe. I am grounded. I am embodied. I am present. I exist. Envision yourself with roots coming down and then out. I am rooted. I am safe. I am secure. I am grounded. One more deep breath. And breathing out of your mouth. Thank you. I know that was quick. I hope that that was helpful in any capacity. If it was, please feel free to share, like, subscribe, etc. Bookmark it so that you can come back, maybe look at the tail end there for the little meditation there, right? I want to make more meditations, but I just kind of whatever I'm guided to do in the moment is what I do. So I'll get there eventually. Anyhow, yes. And if you want any more information or for booking or just questions, anything like that, feel free to reach out at loveishealingllc.com. We're on Facebook and we're on Instagram at Love is Healing LLC, and on YouTube, of course, at Love is Healing LLC. And I think that's it. Please comment any questions. If you have any ideas for videos that we can do too, happy to do that. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.